Welcome, folks. I'm PJ. I'm here with Ruben and Braxton. We're going to discuss episode 8 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Probably the best episode of Star Trek ever. Or at least, in my opinion, this season. I'll say right now, I didn't reveal this. I think it's the best episode. Now, we're going to
Wow.
get to. We're going to get to. I don't know. I'll say why. I'll say why. I
No, I
think
actually might
it
agree
really
with
hit
you.
hard for me at the end, I got to
I
say.
sort of kind of agree with you.
I'm just going to do a brief summary and then we're going to get into what we thought about the episode in general. So, Mbenga's daughter, Rakia, she has a little time left. Uh, Her disease is accelerating every time she's out of the transporter buffer. And after reading her a medieval fantasy book called Kingdom of Elysian, he continues to research a treatment when Una orders him to rest because he's overworked. He's not paying attention to his other duties. Meanwhile, the Enterprise crew are finishing a survey of the Jonasian Nebula. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I don't think they even say it. It's just on the screen in the corner. But they are unable to leave for whatever reason. And if you're hearing noise, it's my cat playing. So when Mbenga is called to the bridge after Ortegas is injured, he finds the crew's personalities and appearances have been altered to reflect the characters from the book he was just reading to his daughter in sickbay. Only Mbenga and Hemmer appear unaffected, and they discover the illusion is being created by a non-corporeal alien who sensed Rakia's loneliness and isolation and offers her a full and happy life as a nebula entity. If she stays, she may not survive. So Mbenga makes the heartbreaking decision to say goodbye to his daughter, who comes back seconds later, appearing as an adult to show she is happy and safe with the entity, which she named Deborah after her mother. The crew are restored to their previous selves, but aside from Mbenga and the rest of the crew have like absolutely no memory of the 5 hours they spent in their altered states. And Mbenga tells Una what happened at the end, and that's how the episode ends. I really like this episode. It gave it like I had fun watching it because the people in the episode and the actors themselves were having fun, and I was enjoying that part of it and them having fun. And I didn't know where it was going. I figured it might like be the resolution, maybe like really dumb, but it turned out like to be really emotionally effective. And I don't know, it really got me. And I know people were, crying and stuff over it, but I choked up a bit. Like I got a bit of a lump in my throat. So that was the first episode of Strange New Worlds that did that to me, and a combination of comedy, fun, and then like the emotional punch at the end. So that's what I thought. Whoever wants to go first, fight.
Sure,
Dude,
Rumble.
so I don't know if it was my favorite episode of the season, but I really did enjoy it upon the second watch. So, for instance, like when I watched it the
Greetings.
first time, like in the first 20 minutes, I was like, "Oh, like where are they going with this? Like, what are they doing?" And then Hammer came in, and then it started to make sense to me. And then once I was prepared for everything, and I was really free to enjoy it, like the second time. Like, dude, I super enjoyed it. I thought that La'an was great. She was my favorite character in it. You know, I thought that Dr. Mbenga's acting, the actor who plays him, he was really really strong this episode. Um,
Babs Alusamunkun. Babs
mm,
Alusamunkun. Because it's a hard name to say, and you actually have to hear it to like pronounce it right. Because you can pronounce it many different ways. Alusamunkun. That's how he says it, and I've been practicing that all day. I had it written down what's that word? Phonetic? Or
Phonetically, yeah.
phonetically, yeah. But yes, I just want to interrupt you for a second and point out that he is a standout actor in the show. His performance is so balanced and subtle, and I love the idea of a guy who's like in a Twilight Zone kind of episode where everybody's different but he's the same, and he
yeah.
has to play along and kind of figure out. And then like they do bring in Hemmer, and that's like an extra like treat right there because he gets a lot of time and a lot of time to shine. So yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's fine. I was just gonna add that and Hammer was so good as well. It was really nice to see him back. We haven't seen him in a few weeks, and he makes a great return, dude.
On to Ruben,
Um,
sir.
so let me explain. No, you see, I sort of already view the show as a comedy. So with that in mind, this was kind of the best episode because it was funny. I enjoyed watching the actors just hamming it up and doing their thing. It really reminded me of a bad TOS season 3 episode, but in like a good way, where like I enjoy some of those bad episodes because they're bad. It's like whatever, man. Just go with it. Who cares? And so in a lot of ways, it was the one that bothered me the least in terms of things. They like the camera work seemed a little bit more steady. Aside from they kept cutting to the stupid page of the book with every character. I'm like, we get it, we get it.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the book. We get it.
Mm.
One time is enough. But other than that, like little things like that, like I kind of enjoyed it in a weird way. In this weird way that I enjoy the show overall.
Well, that was the one. That was probably the most annoying thing in the episode for me was, oh, here's a new character. We have to remind the audience that they're a character from the book. Remember? We showed you 5 seconds ago, didn't we? But you probably forgot. So it's like if they had more time, like to actually show the pages and the characters in the book while he's reading. You know what I mean? You see some of the book at the beginning, but
Right.
if they like kind of focused on it, and they do set up in a few previous episodes this book and the whole thing taking her out of the buffer and reading her the thing, and the whole thing about she wishes the ending was different. One of the great things about this is like he wants her to have a life and to write her own stories, and the fact that she partners with this alien and they can literally, they're like Q or like the Nexus or something, where they can write their own adventures and fantasies and stuff like this and do whatever they want and write their own stories. And I like how the daughter the whole time at the end was basically watching her dad in a forced holodeck simulation to see how he would fare in the story itself. And he does a great job in the team up with Hammerman. I love that stuff. I just want to point out a comment by PE here. The ultimate fate of the daughter reminds me of the ultimate fates of Zephyrin Cochrane, Captain Pike, Captain Kirk, and Captain Sisko. They all enter some suspended animation alien mental fantasy land. That's a great point. So, yeah. Wow, that dog. Lucky dog. That's all I'll say about the dog. That's her real dog. I saw in the ready room.
It's her dog, you said?
It's her actual dog.
Oh, cool.
It's like continuing this tradition of modern Trek, having the actors have their actual dogs in the show, which is good. I like it's a cute dog or whatever, but she's funny and it gave them a chance to show her just being goofy as hell, and like the singing and all that. I'm like, some of it was cringe, but I was like, okay, I'll go with it. Anson Mount, my God, he was giddy. Apparently, he was so silly in that role that it was hard for them to do takes like Babs and I forget the woman who plays Ortegas.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about how like Anson was just cracking them up. It's funny how when Anson Mount's character betrays Mbenga, he's like, I should have known that. He does that in the book, right? But what did you think of Hemmer? Do you think he got some time to
Deus
shine?
Ex Hammer.
Deus Ex
That's
Hammer.
what I called him in the episode. I was like, wow, Hammer pulls this thing out of his butt, and he's like, I can get us out of this. Hammer pulls
He
out the
didn't
thing.
pull it out of his butt. Come on.
In my head canon, he pulled it out of his butt.
I like how they still have access to the technology, so like the ship is kind of changed, but
Yeah, it's a bottle
not
episode.
completely.
They bought a bunch of cheap fake vines.
It really is a bottle episode.
Hung them up everywhere. Some banners, hung them up. It's all right.
Hammer is such a pacifist, dude. Like those people were dragging him away, and he made no moves to fight them or defend himself. Hammer totally stole the show, dude. Like some of my favorite parts of this show was him. Like I loved when he cut them out of prison with the tool, and Ortega's just like, "Oh, why aren't you covering your eyes?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm a magician." I
Yeah.
thought that was hilarious. And I also loved it when he used that tricorder to beam those people into the cargo bay. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to like unleash this powerful magic on you," and then he's like abracadabra, and then he like hits the button and like they they transport away. Dude, everyone was real good.
I noticed in the last two episodes, I didn't quite like the last episode so much. I think it's one of the weaker episodes. But the past two episodes have really leaned into like some of the goofy, campy kind of nature of the show, which they've talked about. The show is going to be light and goofy and funny at times, but I think the last two episodes they're going to switch gears and it's going to get super serious
Yeah.
because they've gotten the foolish stuff out of the way. I think the last episode was unintentional comedy.
Mhm.
This is intentional comedy that some of it falls flat, like when a Hammer is going woo and it goes on a little too long and you're just like abracadabra. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty basic kind of stuff, but it's fun anyway. But I liked when he got possessed, like how they communicated with the alien. He's like, be
Yeah.
gentle. And then
Hmm.
you see they spend some money on every time the antenna move. It's a CGI expensive thing, right? Like they have to do. It's like Doug Jones with the ganglia, and like we can't keep doing this ganglia stuff. How about in season 2 they just fall off? It's like yeah, okay.
Dude, I thought in
And there, but
Enterprise,
he has spikes now anyway. So yeah,
the Andorians they had like little like electric motors in there, and they moved like that way, and not like CG. It was like practical effects.
they had that was a complicated thing though too because during the takes you had puppeteers controlling. I don't know if it was one or two, but someone had to control them
Hmm.
and give them like their personality during the takes and stuff. So, and they do look mechanical. You look back at them now, like it's great that they went through that effort. But it seems like
Yeah,
anytime you're going to see
for the time it was
Andorians,
top of the
well,
line. Yeah.
Anar is that his species?
And
Yeah, you're going to see his things move only when it's like he's in some kind of
PJ, you didn't mention how
drastic
gorgeous.
situation.
You didn't mention how gorgeous the dog's dress was, dude.
I didn't even notice the dog had a dress. To be honest, I was just,
He was focused on something else.
Dude, um, the dress matched Laurent's dress, dude. They were wearing like matching dresses, dude. I thought that was awesome. And
I
she was
also
like
like
$1 million in that dress, dude.
that's where the money went for this episode. They're like, okay, it's a bottle episode. It's probably a bit cheaper. The cat's gonna jump on my leg in a second. Oh God, go away. I have shorts on. That's why I don't want him to do it. Um, I like how the costume design and all that. It was great. The way the ship was dressed up was a little tacky, but I get it. The illusion is that they're still. If they had to actually go and film in like a castle or something, if it like the ship actually transformed into an actual real Scottish castle or something, I don't know. That would have been too much, but I appreciate the costume work. Cat's crawling on me. Um,
The
he's got
costumes
shot.
were great. I loved my favorite though was Uhura's wobbly icicles or whatever they were. And they were like constantly going like in scenes when she'd be talking and stuff. And I'm like, stop.
Dude, I was looking for that, dude. I didn't see it, dude. I didn't see it moving.
Really?
Well, I mean, it's okay.
I mean, it's not a big deal. It wasn't like super crazy or anything like that, but you could see them like wobble a little bit. Boing, boing.
Costuming was fantastic. The Red Knights looked amazing. Captain Pike's costume looked amazing. At the end, Rukia's dress was so beautiful, dude. Like it had like 3 or 4 different colors, like a rainbow, and her hair, and like She had like the little things, you know. I thought that young actress absolutely looked stunning in that last season. I mean, in that last scene, did.
And she's a good actress too. Uh, it's good when either they get naturally good child actors, or at least child actors you can coax a good performance out of through like takes or whatever you got to do. But it's not like other child actors that seem like a little phony. She seemed like genuine. And she's like, and you felt so sad, like she's when she says to Mbenga, she's like, at the end, Daddy, if you want, I can go back in the transporter buff. You're like, oh, fuck. That's when I started, like, getting all fucking weird. I was like, no, you're not going to cry, I promise myself. But it's funny how, out of nowhere, like, a scene like that can fucking, get you all choked up, make you. But it's absurd. It's extremely absurd at the same time. In an absurd episode. And there's, like, a weird balance of, like, it's not jarring that I just had Anson Mount being the silliest he's ever been in his career, along with probably everybody else in the cast. And then you get that emotional punch at the end.
I mean, he's
Uhura?
doing pirate impressions at the end of last episode.
Yeah,
He's already kind of like a fantasy character at this point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's been this character, just more extreme this time. He was funny.
The next episode,
And
they're
I
going
liked
to be
his
doing
different
karaoke. Just a small town girl. Yeah. And yeah, I don't, 16 minutes, and I think we've run out of things to say about it.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's my favorite episode, but simultaneously not really that interesting of an episode.
You know, but I mean,
It's enjoyable to watch, though.
It's just enjoyable. Yeah, sort of.
yeah,
In
it
the
is. It's
city.
really fun.
It kind of reminds me of what we talked about last time, Braxton, about the campness. I didn't like the camp when Angel turned into cartoon villain all of a sudden, because that episode didn't seem campy to me. It seemed like it should have been serious. This episode, I loved it because I was like, yeah, this is stupid from the beginning, and it does have a nice, like, what I liked about it too compared to the other episodes is that it just has one cohesive story that fills the whole time. It's not jumping around to all these other things. It's like it's just taking us through this episode. It was really well constructed in that way, and compared to other episodes. And then the camp worked. The camp was like a great balance. Plus, I mean, I didn't really like the whole Mbenga because just the fact that he had her imprisoned all this time. Just I can't get into that. I'm just like, this is just so weird. But like at least they did like have a very
well, the
cohesive.
alien judges him in that way too, right?
Right, and you know, and it has a cohesive kind of. I didn't like the extra. She comes back as an adult thing. I didn't think that was necessary. I thought it was perfect to just leave it where, bye, daddy. You know.
Yeah.
What I think, yeah, I agree. In retrospect, at the time, I was like, "Oh, she's come back and it's okay. She's good." And she say like the reassurance.
She's gonna come back again when she's like older, and she's like, "I'm a grandma now," and she's like, come back again when she's even older. Like, what the fuck?
I think,
but maybe she's just gonna stay like 35 or something.
Forever young.
You know,
like a vampire. He comes back as some sort of crazy space.
You know, PJ, the alien really did shame Mbanga. When he was like, oh, like I felt her consciousness and she was like alone, just like me. And like I was something I was thinking like was that her consciousness was and physical body was just like frozen in the transporter buffer. So it's interesting to think of her being conscious. Like I don't know, that was an interesting thing to me.
You think she was conscious in the buffer?
I mean,
how could the entity sense? Oh, well, actually, I think the way
or she like in a dream sort of thing.
No, I don't think she's conscious. I think it's just like literally when she comes back out, it's like the last second has passed. But I think the way they explain it is that the entity detected her trapped in there. Like they thought it was like a prisoner thing, took her out of it, and then sensed the whole thing, the loneliness and all that. I think that's the way it played out. I could be wrong. If anybody wants to correct me. But PE says I wonder if Pike found that Mbenga's daughter was kept in the transporter buffer for who knows how long. Did anyone ever tell him? It's another issue. I'm glad you brought that up because the whole thing about how do people did you keep track of people in this time, like citizens and stuff? For example, if Mbeng has a daughter, the mother's passed on, so he has presumably custody. Who is he saying that she lives with, and why is he the only one who knows she has the disease? Apparently, you know what I mean. It's very strange when you really the more you think about it. It's like, how is he getting away with this, and why is he keeping it a secret? And if it's so important, wouldn't you say to the captain, if I go on this assignment, I need to keep my daughter in the transporter buffer? Maybe there's a rule against that, like you can't do that, so that's why it's a secret. And then Una is in on the secret, so she's keeping secrets from Pike. I don't like that. I'm like, this it seems like there's trust issues. Like, I
Captain
don't
Cook.
know who knows what, and like how important it is for the captain to know. I mean, wouldn't it be really important? Wouldn't he get angry when he finds out, like,
He's
Jesus,
Captain Cook.
you had her there and now she's gone into space, like as a non-corporeal entity? What the fuck are you talking about?
They'd just
dude?
be like, matey, that's not nice. Credits. You're like, okay.
That's just the way it be.
You're like, sure, okay, whatever.
Your daughter's in the nebular. All right. What's this quote? Do you want her to live? Would be the worst dad ever. Up to you. It's true. It's like it's.
Or stop being.
I don't know
worse
if
dad.
is this appropriate. I was thinking in that choice moment in the episode, I was thinking of Sophie's choice. I know it's a different thing. But I was like, I said to myself, this is a real Sophie's choice. I don't know if people exactly use that term correctly, but I think it's close enough in this case because you're basically choosing whether to let her live or die. Because he can't find a cure. He's screwed. And what was the whole thing with 2 episodes ago where the dude's like, I'm going to help you? That went nowhere. Like, he only gave him, like, tidbits of information that he had to spend too much time. It's...
matey, that's how it be.
I'm glad it's over. I'm
You
glad
know,
it's over.
two more
I'm glad it's over
episodes
for
to
that
go.
reason because I'm glad she's in a better place and all this, and not literally like heaven. I mean, not the heavens literal, but
Well, she's like a space god or something.
it's like she's in kind of a space heaven,
imagination or something.
like, space imagination heaven, ecstasy. Kirk.
They should
what was
make a
the other
kid
one?
show with her, like another animated kid show, like Prodigy, but with her going through like these imaginative worlds.
Somebody mentioned, I think, on Starfleet Boys thing that there's potential crossover now because of time and space don't matter or wherever the hell she is. So she could show up in Discovery or something if they
She
come
could be like
across
the
that
Watcher.
nebula.
Oh wow, dude! Rukia can totally come back. Like way in Rukia could be on Discovery. All they have to do is just like go past her nebula, and she pops in. She's like, "Oh hey," and like possesses a
hey.
telepathic being. You know,
I hope
she's
she
like,
says
"Ooh."
exactly that too. She's like, "Oh hey, what's up?"
like oh, I'm Rukia and I want to play, you know.
So I'm glad we don't have to worry about that situation because I didn't know how long that was going to linger around for, like a whole season until next season. Because I was going to get really annoyed with the fact that it's such a well-kept secret. And that Una's betraying her captain. Like, you really think about it, it's like, I don't like this kind of secrecy between number 1 and Pike. Because Pike confides in her so much. I mean, he's telling her about the names of the people he remembers from the flash forward, which presumably he hasn't really told the story in that much detail to anyone else but her. And there's like this bond between them, and I don't think we're ever going to see that part where Pike finds out. It's just going to be skimmed right over. What happens at the end of the episode? It's like, okay, sure, he's about to tell Una the story, but will she keep it to herself or will she report it? Like, what the fuck? Like they're gonna investigate, are they not, into the 5 hours that have gone missing?
Somebody wrote something there. A lot of headcanon. Who was it, Stan? A lot
Yeah.
of headcanon is needed for all that. Because it's like, I still feel like he needs to go into psychological evaluation. Who's to say he won't do this to someone else that he just falls in love with? Some replacement for his daughter down the road. Like
it's a desperate father acting out because of the love of his daughter who's like dying. So like the motivation makes sense. It's just it's like, are you a trustworthy officer? And hey, number one, are you a trustworthy officer?
Remember when the Romulans trapped Riker and put him in that imaginary future where he was a captain to try to extract like secret information from him and stuff? Like, dude, you can get Mega so easy with this shit.
But dude, having kept a couple of secrets isn't that big of an issue. Like her and Benga, have a couple of secrets. Like that's I think that's okay. Captain Pike, like secrets. He's just a weak information sieve, dude. Like you like butter him up and he just tells you everything, dude. But Una, she's not like that.
So what are we gonna get? What are the predictions for the final 2 episodes? 2, right? This was 8, so 9, 10.
Yeah, one of them's got to be
Gorn.
Some Gorn stuff. I think the finale is probably going to be a Gorn thing, much like the Packlids were like the finale for Lower Decks. The Packlids are the main kind of recurring villain in Lower Decks, but they're actually well used because they're so perfect for sitcom humor. You know what I mean?
A lot of times on the Starfleet Boys TOS shows, Valerie says this, that a lot of season 3 episodes kind of would have worked better as animated episodes, and I feel like this would have been better as an animated Prodigy episode. Oh, I'm not Prodigy. I'm sorry. Lower Decks.
Dude, you had to see La'an in that draft, dude.
Oh, no, I ain't complaining.
There's lots of stuff in the episode that kept my interest, but if you could, it could have been one of the shorter episodes, like the 34 to 40-minute one.
What would you have
that they
cut,
sometimes
PJ?
do with Discovery? Like, I think the shortest Discovery episode is like 38 minutes, 34 minutes or something.
Would you have cut Nurse Chapel's part, dude?
I gotta be honest. The least interesting character or storybook character that was brought to life through a crew member was Uhura's. That wasn't that interesting. I liked Ortega's and Pike and who's. There's another. She had a scar on her eye. She's one of the bridge crew members.
Mm-hmm. Is it Jenny? Is that her name?
I think it's Jenny. Yeah. But everybody looks so good. Like La'an and Uhura, like looked really like, and they're not that's what I like about. I also like about the show too. They don't shy away from sensuality or sexiness. Like it's kind of taboo now to even talk about.
Although
things
I
that
have to complain that we have not gotten or I don't believe we've gotten a Pike's shirt getting ripped moment, a la Kirk. So that's gonna come.
He has been. He's been shirtless a couple of times though, hasn't he? I guess.
In the bed with the woman a couple of episodes ago.
No, but like a sweaty fight shirtless.
Maybe that'll happen with the Gorn. He fights the Gorn and like the claws go across his chest.
Wearing some weird ancient alien harness thing, that's vaguely kind of, what I'm talking about? That vaguely kind of kinky Star Trek shit.
Or maybe he gets stranded on a hot jungle planet and learns to get along with the local primates and has only a loincloth and swings around on a vine going like Tarzan. I can't do the Tarzan yell. I don't think anybody can.
Ruben can.
I'm not even gonna try that shit.
Well, this is a great discussion, and it's good to end it in a half an hour at this point because
dude, hold on, PJ.
Everybody's just fallen off. All the viewers just went right down. Like he's talking about Anson Mount in a loincloth. Let's leave.
PJ, what do you think about the concept of being a disembodied consciousness in a nebula like forever?
Well, I speak from experience because before I was born, uh,
In
I
my previous life.
in my previous non corporeal state before I came to Earth. No, I don't know. It'd be it'd be weird because you could. It's almost like you could just live in your own head and create your own reality. You can like a physical reality that you can manifest and then change and conjure up something else. Like, would you get bored? Like, there's no pain. There's no presumably anxiety. But like, where's the joy? Where's the
Yeah, what do you strive for? I mean, I
well?
don't know.
Yeah,
I guess maybe when your consciousness in this different form of consciousness, maybe you find joy in different ways. I mean, I know for me as like a writer and a dungeon master and like somebody who loves to create worlds, like being this like Q type of guy who can just create worlds and see them exist and see what happens. Like I would love to just create a world and just be like, all right, I'm done. Like Uatu the Watcher in the Marvel universe. That's how I'm
Mm.
kind of seeing Mbeka's daughter now. She's just kind of this grand watcher, and then you can just like observe things and just be like, oh, that's interesting. Why did they make those decisions? Like little toys. So I can see myself being entertained for a while, and then time is a little bit different. So I like Neil deGrasse Tyson always says this that we're a way for the universe to understand itself. So I feel like maybe this is another way for you become this space consciousness to understand the universe in different ways.
there's an SNL skit with Jim Carrey. It's like a dating show, but he's like a super rich weirdo old man guy, and he like likes to play with people, like play God with people. And he talked about like I took a bunch of men and put them in like an area, and all named Dennis, and one who wasn't like named Phil or something. I'm paraphrasing, and I closely watched him to see how like when they would all start introducing, hi, I'm Dennis, I'm Dennis, I'm Dennis. See what that one guy would do. Would they turn against him? And it's like he's like playing God with people. It's like little experiments. I don't know if I was a Q or an all powerful being. I don't know if I would put real people in
Well, yeah,
situations that would frighten them.
I was just thinking that
I
too.
would
Like,
ask them to
wouldn't-
participate though. I'd be like,
Yeah,
hey, do you want me to trip
I'd
you right
show
out?
up on the ship and be like, "Hey, weird space travelers, what's up? Peace. I can kill you all in a heartbeat, so please just don't try anything." But I'm here all chill, like no threats. Like you want to play a game? Like swear to God, it's totally chill. It's like Dungeons and Dragons. You ever research it? Look it up on your computers.
And the captain's like, well, we have a couple hours till we get to so and so place. We could
And
participate with this psychopathic god, or we could all die. So
imagine a ship that instead of the holodeck, you have these beings that their purpose on these ships is to be kind of like the mental entertainers of the ship. They kind of create illusions instead of holodecks. Oh my God, I like the idea. I gotta write it down.
Did you guys think of anything of Spock's performance tonight?
He was my
completely
least
forgot he
favorite.
was in the episode.
Yeah, he was my least
That's why.
favorite.
Yeah, I guess he didn't. I guess it was Uhura and him that really didn't stand out.
What about Nurse Chapel?
Well, actually, no.
Uhura,
Uhura
yeah.
stood out. I mean, it's just the
He-
character. She. I don't know what it is, but she's so sweet to me. She can sell evil. So when she's threatening Ortegas, I'm like, yeah, you don't mean it.
Yeah,
It seemed like the actress wasn't like I can't be this mean. But yeah,
Would you have preferred to see her and La'an having switched roles?
Man, she would be great in a Police Academy remake as Hooks.
the blonde woman,
No, Uhura.
Hooks, the high
yeah.
high pitched,
Yeah,
Girl.
the one who talk really. Yeah, who talk really.
and she screams really loud sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. And then what's his name? Book from Discovery could be Hightower. What? I'm recasting Police Academy with all Star Trek actors.
I've seen every Police Academy.
I love
and,
Police Academy movies.
and they get worse and worse.
Yeah, like
Go.
fast, like real fast too. It's like here and then. But yeah, Spock was my least favorite. Not weakest. I don't want to say he was weakest. He was just didn't really make an impact as much as everybody else.
Yeah, he was
But
just
yeah,
there.
La'an looked great, and she hammed it up perfectly. Pike was great, just phenomenal job. I want to see all these people in like some sort of crazy zany comedy, like Knives Out 3 or something. Like put them on like some crazy sort of thing like that. Um, who else was really good? Hemmer was fun. What was the third thing Hemmer did? Hemmer pulled the thing out to melt the cage. He pulled the communicator out, and he did something else after that. So
So he did four things. He
that was
helped
four.
the doctor to like hypothesize and science up like what was happening when he
Oh
was
yeah.
talking about
Oh no,
like
I
the.
was just saying sort of the Deus Ex
Mhm.
Machina, just random things that he did. I
And
don't
then he
Well,
know.
got possessed at the end, dude.
the last thing he did was
Hmm.
communicate with the.
And he was the host of the consciousness, dude. It's like, oh wow.
And at the
Yeah.
end, they even erased his memory. So, and Benga was the only one who remembered anything. And like I said, Babs Olasamonkun. It's like what was the? There's an actor. There's a character in Discovery who
But what's the cool?
people say a lot of people say it differently, and it seems like the actors in the show say it differently, and got to a point where they just said, "Oh whoa," because I think Jason Isaacs said "Awishikin," but it's actually "Awishikun," much like Olusamonkun. It's the KUN at the end, and
Mm.
it's just a lot of names that
Oh my
you're not used to. You have to hear the person who owns the name say it because they're the
God.
only ones that really know. People, there's a is Zach Galifianakis. For the longest time, people could not say his last. People just like the guy from
Gallifrancus.
Hangover,
The guy from
the
Hangover.
guy from Hangover, and it's like Galifianakis. It's a Greek name, I think. I had a friend, Peter Panagakos, and nobody was like, "How do you say it?" I'm like, "Panagakos, Panagakos." And once you hear the actual person say it, it's not difficult. But
Unless he's like, hey, it's Panagakos.
Panagakos. I had a teacher named Mushbahani. Like I like complicated last names. I think they're fun. But yeah, and Benga Babs does a great job. Christina Chong, I mean, lucky dog. All right. If you know what I'm talking, I'm making a reference. I don't want to say it out loud. I don't want to seem like such a fucking dirtbag, but there's a scene where
What the
I couldn't hear anything the actors were saying because I'm like, that dog just you're using this take because the dog's just like lapping up all over here, and I'm like,
Did we mention
it makes
the
sense now that it's her
insinuation
actual
that
dog, right? Because I was like, that's an actor dog who just has really taken to her, but it's like no, they're actually very familiar with each other. Even in the interview, when she's holding the dog's like just constantly licking her hand.
Oh.
he's a liquor? Did we mention the insinuation of Una and Ortega's characters having a romance?
Oh yeah, yeah. They
That was
that
funny.
was the daughter. That I think that was the daughter's input because the daughter wanted. That's how the daughter wanted the ending to change. She wanted to have them
Include
team up
Huntress.
to
Yeah.
yeah.
And then also Ortegas is playing a male character.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they call her Sir, and
Right.
so yeah, they're playing with gender there. It's cool, and oh, I have to start learning some of the actors' names because I don't even know who plays Bruce Bruce Horak plays Hemmer. I think I could be wrong, but I'm still learning. But
Rock.
I
Sounds like
really like
a
Ortegas.
sounds like a future creature.
Dude, so the thing
Rock.
is, like, Ortegas is almost never standing up on the bridge, dude. She just so happened to be standing up, like trying to get that impulse going, and then like she just
Hmm.
like hits the console and then like hits the floor, dude. It's like, come on, dude. Like, you know.
It's better than your ship getting hit with a photon torpedo and then the consoles for some reason exploding in your face. Like, why? What? I've never understood that about Trek. I think it's so stupid every time it happens. Like somebody's at they need to show damage affecting the bridge, and it's like the easiest way to do it is to have fireballs in the background coming out of ventilation ports that if you walk by you'd be fucking
the
burned.
ship's getting messed up, you know.
I don't understand how starships work in emergency
Dude, the electronics
situations.
get fried, dude, and then it's like some feedback, and it just like the console just fucking blows up. It seems logical to me, dude.
I had a really bad headache this morning, so when the aliens stopped possessing Hammer's body, and I had a lot of empathy for the state he was left in. And this comment from earlier, which I brought up but I didn't mention, I guess that everyone tells their deeply personal secrets to Una.
Dude, Una can keep a secret, dude.
I mean, yeah, apparently.
She's that one person everybody's like, who can I trust with secrets?
Like, you should
Somebody
tell
who's
Una
never
your-
told a secret. That's who you trust. That's a
You should
fact.
tell Una
If
your
you want to
secret,
trust
'cause-
somebody with a secret, trust somebody who doesn't like talking to people. Who choose the loneliest, most fucking.
Una's gonna turn out to be the villain of the whole series when she like knows
Oh my
all
God.
the dirt on everybody. She's gonna be Angel somehow. I'm back.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up there. But this has been a fun discussion, and
It's a fun episode. Whatever.
I hope at the end, Ruben, you're like, at least the finale was fucking awesome.
I don't believe.
But I
that's
don't
gonna
know.
happen.
I don't think
I
it's
don't believe
gonna.
that's
I don't think it's
happen.
gonna happen for you. I think it's gonna be. I don't think the show's gonna reach any of the.
I think we've
remember
seen
what
the
I said at
best
the
of what they
beginning?
got.
I want a standout episode that says, "Holy fucking shit!" Like, in retrospect, this first season of the first episode of season 2 of Picard was that for a while, and then like it was ruined by the rest of the season. Like,
Yeah.
it had such promise, and I'm like, oh, it's doing everything I wanted a modern Trek show to do, and then no.
'Cause
So
if I
this
really- if
this
I
is
re-
doing okay constantly. It's like it's constantly satisfying me. It's not really that disappointing in any respect, but I'm still waiting for that holy shit episode.
right. I don't think it's gonna come. And
Okay.
and when
I'm
you
not
only
gonna
got
bet against it, dude.
and my other thing is I could be pickier about or more critical of this episode by saying that when TOS or TNG, let's say, did episodes like this, they had 23 other episodes in the season. We have 10 episodes and they're already doing this. This is like a filler episode. And it's like, you only have 10 episodes. How can you be filling already if I wanted to get picky? But I'm not, I don't view this show like that. It's kind of a comedy to me every episode. So I'm just like, whatever. I don't really, it doesn't really bother me for some reason what they do. So I'm like 8 episodes and you're already throwing out these weird filler bottle episodes. Kind of another bottle episode because I think there was another bottle episode in the season already. And that's
Well,
bothersome to me, but you never know. Maybe the next episode could always be better than the best episode ever, you know?
It's time to get serious in these last 2 episodes. Let's get
Dude,
serious.
I
and
agree.
let's have
I
some
mean, bring
stakes.
it, man. You got 10 episodes. Yeah, the TNG season was like 26 episodes long. Yeah, 10 of them are goofy. But you got 16 that are awesome.
Have you seen a preview?
At different times, though. I mean, they nobody ever.
Well, yeah,
produces
but you have
20
more
something.
time to do less work. Half
All
the
right.
episodes and twice the amount of time. I feel like Strange New Worlds was filming for like 20 years. They talked about it forever.
Well, the times too. I mean, they got shut down, and that was a very hard process to film anything in the last 2 years.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I don't think creators should use that as an excuse for a lackluster season of television. But if they're going into season 2, like right away, like they did, they had enough confidence in this season to know that they could improve and get better and better. I think the risk is the James T. Kirk stuff. It's like, let's fast track this to more TOS stuff? And I'm like, no, why? There's like 6 years. Pike always says 10 years. It's like, my accident is 10 years from now. 10 years. It's not 10 years. It's like 7 or 8 at the most. They're in 2259 or 2260 or 2259, let's say. The accident happens in 2266 or 67. So
I'm still waiting for the show that's like 80 years after TNG. It just does its own thing.
well, do you want some news that I think Terry Metalis hinted at? Hinted. It's nothing official, but there's been rumors about a Picard spinoff
Oh boy.
with perhaps Rafi
Oh
and
boy.
Seven
Oh boy.
on the Stargazer.
Oh wow, dude, that's exciting.
I don't know why Seven would just automatically become captain all of a sudden, but it seems like that's what they were setting up at the end of that season.
Dude, I like this new 7 of 9, dude.
I like her in the second season a lot more.
Mm-hmm. I like the woman that she.
I like Raffi in the second season too. It's just that they were in a much shittier story. Even Alison Pill, who's always like good, it's like, oh, give her something better than this. And me, I'm in it.
He's the transporter chief. Like on Strange New Worlds.
I think in the first episode of Star Trek, well, I don't know, whatever it's going to be called, with Star Trek 7 of 9. There you go. Why not just call it 7 of 9 if it's about her? But Star Trek 7 of 9, you have a cameo from Patrick Stewart, like, this will be my last time on the Stargazer. She's a refit, but she's not a refit. We don't know. But
Take your pick. Head
take your pick. Take care of us, Seven.
They should
You
actually
too,
pop up on,
Raffi. I love you.
they should pop it up on the screen. Refit or not refit. And then when you click, it shows you a different commercial. I just gave the worst idea. I put the worst idea out into the ether.
Did you guys think that Ortegas's sword fight was pretty cool, dude?
Yeah, it was all right. I do. Yeah, I mean, there had to be a little bit of fighting, but it's an interesting
it was
for
good
a
enough.
bottle episode, an episode where it's like it's all about the costumes and putting some set decoration on our existing sets, and just having it be an absurd kind of stage play almost. It was good for that. I mean, it was really it was effective. I think there are better episodes to come next season, but man, I just hope like episode 9 or 10. Maybe it'll be a two-parter. Maybe 9 will be its own thing. And I think because season 2 started filming like almost right after, it's a cliffhanger, and it's going to involve Kirk, and it's going to be the last thing. Where it's like with Discovery, with the Enterprise, it's like, oh, we've got to save Sam's like, we've got to save my brother, James Tiberius Kirk. Dun dun dun. And then Pike's like, fire on that ship that has Sam's brother on it. The suspense. All right. Thank you guys for joining me, and thank you people in the chat. I love that people show up and comment and leave good comments too, and I'm glad to have you guys here to give different points of view and great commentary. So until next time, folks, live long and prosper.